Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us this afternoon for the Franchising 101 webinar brought to you by Dallas Independent School District's Minority Women Business Enterprise Department. I am Stephanie Broughton, one of the MWBE coordinators with Dallas Independent School District, as well as the moderator for today's event. We are so excited to bring this webinar to you today, and we are going to provide you with so much amazing information. And so just to make sure that you guys can hear me, and I see that a lot of you have found that chat box already. So thank you so much for putting that information in the chat. Let me know that you're there. Let me know who you're representing. We love to know what type of business you have, if you're representing the construction industry or if you're representing goods and services. So again, today we're going to have an amazing event. We're going to bring you Carlos White, who is the ambassador for the franchising program with the City of Dallas Mayor. And so I will be introducing Carlos here in a second. And I also wanted to encourage you guys, if you're not already doing business with Dallas Independent School District, please, 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 we want you guys to come on and do business with us. We have a lot of amazing opportunities available. And if you're interested in doing business with us, please let me know in the chat box, and we will make sure that you get the information that you need from us in order to be successful with pursuing business with Dallas ISD. And if you're already doing business with Dallas ISD, thank you so much for doing business with Dallas ISD. And again, we're going to go ahead and get it kicked off. I'm going to go ahead and turn my my camera off. And then I'm going to introduce you to Carlos, because we have so much information for you guys today. We got Bridget Moon with SBA. We got Jesse Saldana with the City of Dallas Small Business. And we also have Natasha Harris with the Goldman Sachs program. So we have a wealth of information that we're going to be providing for you guys today. So just sit back, buckle your seatbelts, and get ready for this wealth of information. Now, Carlos White, he is a transactional attorney that specializes in optimizing business systems and structuring domestic and international franchising and licensing arrangements. Currently, Carlos serves as a partner at Lathrop GPM, a firm that was named the 2021 Best Franchise Law Firm in the World by Global Franchise Magazine. Carlos has been recognized multiple times by D Magazine as one of the best franchise lawyers in Dallas. Economic development and business mentoring are passions for Carlos, and he has served on various economic development boards throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Recently, Carlos has been tapped as Franchise Impact Ambassador by Mayor Eric Johnson of Dallas. In this role, he will lead the mayor's first of its kind franchise initiative that showcases Dallas as a global leader in franchising and a preeminent hub for creating, incubating, and scaling racially and ethnicity diverse franchise businesses. So if you are an entrepreneur interested in learning more about franchising, and as well as the Mayor Johnson's franchise initiative, stay tuned. Carlos?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much, Stephanie, for providing this platform. And I'm honored to be with such distinguished panelists and things along those lines. But also, I love the opportunity to speak with the real heroes and sheroes in connection with economic development. And that's our business owners. So kudos for you all for taking time out to out your busy schedule to learn a little bit more about Mayor Eric Johnson's franchise initiative. And I must admit, I think that's the starting point, because I can brag all day about our mayor's, credentials and his accomplishments as a state rep. But at the end of the day, he cares about people, and he's very innovative and basically personifies what we call big Dallas energy. He has basically helped create an economic inclusive solutions, right, that help spur economic development. These solutions include basically now Dallas has an economic development corporation under his watch. He's also appointed a workforce czar to upskill our residents and increase their earning potential, as well as formed a couple of years ago the Mayor's Task Force on Innovation and Entrepreneurship to support economic development and entrepreneurship in our ecosystem. Now, having basically strategically thought through that, he basically set the table in order for us to have a program revolving around franchising, which is really at the intersection of entrepreneurship, job creation, and economic development. So we must give kudos to Mayor Eric Johnson. A lot of people say a lot of folks say, hey, you're playing chess in Dallas and not checkers. I like to say we actually playing dominoes. Like Mayor Eric Johnson's actually playing dominoes and not checkers. Why dominoes? Because domino, it changes. You can have a good hand the first time, and after you playing completed, guess what? The dynamics change it, and you have to be innovative again. And those are the types of strategies and economic solutions that Mayor Eric Johnson has helped produce. So I'm definitely so happy and honored to be a part of the franchise impact, to be franchise impact ambassador as we move forward. So.
Awesome. Well, Carlos, could you kind of take a couple minutes describing your professional background as it relates to franchising?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been practicing in the franchising realm for about 15 years or so. Started my career at a law firm called DLA Piper. At the time, it was the largest law firm in the world. So, I basically helped create, numerous franchise programs, both domestically and internationally. So that provided a good background for me and skill set that I could basically start pursuing my opportunities in franchising. So through the years, I've been general counsel of a mid-market company. Also been partners at a couple other law firms. But one of the things that I always noticed was with respect to franchising was that the amount of wealth creation that could be developed for concepts that you wouldn't even know anything about. They're just regional in nature. Because why? Because they had a system that was able to be scaled. So that's why it's so important. Franchise is not perfect, but in essence, it provides the opportunity to be scaled. And being a lawyer and advising on a lot of these companies, I saw a lot of wealth creation, saw a lot of companies sell into private equity for over hundreds of millions of dollars. And I always wondered, why hasn't that type of information or strategy been implemented, throughout in underserved and overlooked communities? And fortunately, the same thought was by Mayor Eric Johnson. So we've been thinking about this a couple of years, the best way to roll out now that fortunately the pandemic is kind of subsided somewhat. We can now develop the requisite programs to help grow and scale, because guess what? Dallas is home to one of the largest, African-American owned franchise system, Williams Chicken, and for whatever, thoughts with respect to that particular brand, it's created a rainbow coalition of millionaires, and they've been able to operate in some of the most destitute areas in the city. So if those types of concepts can survive and scale, then definitely we can put together a program to help create more unicorns so that we can create more economic opportunity and job creation for our communities.
Well, that's great. And, you mentioned the Williams Chicken franchise, which is an amazing franchise. And he is absolutely an amazing business owner and visionary. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And so with that being said, now, Mayor Eric Johnson, this is his franchise initiative. And could you kind of tell us a little bit as to why franchising was the focus of the initiative?
Yeah, franchising, before I get into the details, because I will be using some terminology that might not, I don't want to be presumptuous. So when I refer to a franchisor, I'm basically referring to the concept owner. So think of Wingstop, right? They're the franchisor. When I refer to franchisee, that is a person or company that has been granted the right to operate it under the franchisor's name and specification. So Calvin Golden, right, which is a real person and one of the most successful Wingstop franchisees throughout their history, and based in Dallas as well, will be deemed a franchisee. So it's important to kind of note that distinction as we move forward. Why Dallas? Dallas is probably home to more or close to more to the largest city. I mean, the city that has the most franchisor concepts, and they're diverse, whether it's quick service restaurants to cleaning service to hotels and things of that nature. So that was one of the reasons. Also, Dallas, we have like 15 franchisee companies that have revenues over $50 million or so. Dallas is also centrally located, where it's the gateway with respect to Mexico and Central America and South America. So there's a lot of international flavor associated with that. So it just made sense that the confluence of these items developed like, hey, Dallas is really a global hub with respect to franchising from a general sense. And more specifically, as we start drilling down, franchising is not perfect, but it has been a proven business model that creates over $826 billion worth of economic input in the United States. And in Dallas alone, it creates $8.5 billion worth of economic impact. So you couple the economic impact with a very diverse base of customers and residents that we have in Dallas, as well as the purchasing power of this diverse base. I mean, if we're just talking about just from racial and ethnic minorities alone, African Americans, have $1.6 trillion in spending power. Hispanic Americans, $1.9 trillion. Asian Americans, $1.3 trillion. So guess what state basically represents the highest earning power for African Americans? It's Texas. The second for Hispanic Americans, the third for Asian Americans. So Texas generally it's just the spot to do it, and Dallas is the financial capital of Texas. So it just made so much sense in order from a macro perspective to basically have this particular initiative start in Dallas.
So then, like you said, Dallas is definitely one of those areas that has a lot of corporate offices here, a lot of franchise restaurants and different other franchises available here. And Carlos, before we go any further, I just want to check with our audience to see if you guys have any questions. So if you have any questions, go ahead and include those questions in the Q&A section down at the bottom. Or if you would like, you can go ahead and include your question in the chat box, and I'll make sure that we get those questions to Carlos. So while you guys are looking for the Q&A section as well as the chat section to put your questions in, I have another question for Carlos that I would like for him to provide us some information on. So Carlos, could you give us some details on, the goals, objectives, and the prospective programming associated with Mayor Johnson's franchise initiative?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a broad initiative. I've been getting calls since he announced it in August from cities like West Palm Beach, Houston, Atlanta. So it's a lot of interest, as well as the International Franchising Association, who will be here next week to highlight the initiative. So it's really touched upon the nerve with respect to economic development and being innovative. So really the way that we think about this franchise initiative, the Mayor Johnson's franchise initiative, is it could be broken down into basically, two components. The first component is what we call these franchise exchanges. And what is that? That is building the ecosystem around franchising. So people will have quarterly, monthly meetings to talk about that general businesses go through, as well as those that's interested in franchising, for us how to protect your IP, how to brand, how to develop a real estate strategy, what are some of the workforce solutions that we have to look at, how do we go about financing a franchise, how we thought about, there's other financing mechanisms other than loans. For instance, there's something called the E2 visa, where you have folks that can get a green card from internationally that may can find a franchise business to invest in the United States. So it's opening up and reducing that information deficit and providing the requisite information so that these businesses can grow and scale. And that's really what the franchise exchange program is a part of, and we're going to have programming that's associated for our large franchise companies, as well as specifically focused for our smaller companies and companies that may have been overlooked, where we will work with, the various colleges and things of that nature to develop programming, for our larger franchisors, or workforce solutions, or ESG, or how do we become more diverse and inclusive for the larger franchisors, whereas from the smaller franchisors, it's like, look, from a tactical standpoint, we all know it's like, hey, you need to raise capital, you need to do this, that, and the other. But it's like, here are some professionals that tactically, that's been in the mud, that's been able to develop and grow businesses, and putting them with the right team so that they can grow and scale their business the way that they should be able to grow and scale their businesses. So that's with respect to the franchise exchange, which will be programming, convenings throughout the year. We're also going to have 2 accelerator programs. One is a franchisor accelerator program, and the other is a franchisee accelerator program. Remember, franchisor is the concept owners. So we recognize that there is a shortage of racially and ethnically diverse franchise concept owners, right? So we need more concepts, whether they're quick service restaurants, whether they're in health and wellness, whether they're in travel and things along those lines. So we're going to develop specific accelerator programs that can be snapped on to other types of programs so that we can take a business, teach them what franchising is, put together the requisite information so they can make an informed decision whether or not they want to franchise their business. And guess what? Even if they don't decide to franchise their business, they still would get a wealth of knowledge with respect to business systems, IP, that they can utilize to help grow their businesses, internally. And then we're going to have the franchisee accelerator program. There's been a lot of discussion throughout the years about there not being a lot of racially and ethnically diverse franchisees, someone that wants to buy into a concept. Well, one of the reasons for that, and this spans, it doesn't matter, racial background on this, is the fact that it's cost prohibitive for most larger franchise concepts, especially in the quick service space. Then it takes $750,000 worth of liquid cash and $1 million of net worth in order to be a franchisee. So I got to be independently wealthy to operate? It doesn't make any sense. So one of the things we start highlighting other concepts that may not be as expensive that a franchisee can be a part of. But guess what? We also create this franchisor accelerator program in which we probably would develop concepts that won't be as expensive, that won't have those types of requirements. So it gives somebody, an entrepreneur, the opportunity to be able to participate and be a part of a franchise system and grow and scale their businesses. So those are kind of the 3 components. I said 2, but let's call it 3 that we're going to have in connection with this initiative. Have the franchise exchange, which is the building the ecosystem, the franchisor accelerator, creating more racially and ethnically diverse franchise concepts, and third, franchisee accelerator program, create more racially and ethnically diverse franchisees as we move forward with this program.
Somewhat that is, it sounds like it's going to be an amazing program and an amazing initiative for a lot of businesses here in the DFW area. Now, Carlos, you mentioned something about like smaller businesses, and I'm sure some of our attendees today, and I've already seen something come through the chat, like, how can my business, how can I get my business a franchise? So you mentioned small business, you mentioned diverse businesses. So could you talk a little bit about how can a small business benefit from this particular initiative?
Yeah, the small business, one of the things about franchising is it's not an industry, it's just another growth strategy, right? So now it's just breaking it down. It's like, it's nothing mystic about it. Now, it is regulated. So there are laws and there's disclosures and things of that nature that you have to take into account. But at the end of the day, what franchising do is provide business owners with flexibility. It's really kind of 3 options. It's like option 1, I want to grow internally. I'm not interested in franchising. That's option 1. And from this program, they still can benefit with respect to some of the strategies that we use in order to develop their business systems and things of that nature. Okay. Option 2, you know what? I might think about franchising my business. So why wouldn't I franchise? So why should I franchise? Why are you telling this, Carl? What is the important thing? Well, one of the things we recognize is that small businesses often mention that they have getting access to capital is very difficult. So if you're trying to operate your own business and grow internally all by yourself, guess what? That's going to take a lot of capital and things along those lines that you might not have access to. So as opposed to trying to do this internally, if I already have strong business systems, then I can defer, or I can at least manage or outsource some of this risk to someone else that I can teach them up on how I go about operating, give them the opportunity where they will have more of they will be responsible for finding the lease, finding the employees, getting the equipment, things along those lines. But I still give them a business in which they can operate, and I'm still able to make revenue where I ordinarily wouldn't be able to do either, because I wouldn't have the capital to set up a second location. You'll be surprised how many businesses have been very successful in one location, but overextended themselves at the second location and end up going out of business. That's where franchising, we're helping diversify the risk and more of a cooperative type economic platform so that these businesses can grow and scale. That's the second option. The third option, you can do both corporate units as well as franchise units. It's just because you franchise don't mean you also can't do corporate. You still have the flexibility. So it gives the business owners like, look, for those markets in which I am here, I have the relationships. Like if I live in Dallas, then you know what, it may be best that I have a corporate unit. But if I am a power washing business that want to do contracts with the city of Houston, the city of San Antonio, the city of Austin, I don't live there. How can I take advantage of those particular opportunities? You know what? I might develop a franchise program outside of Dallas where I can identify people that's interested. They don't have to, I mean, that's one thing about being a franchisee. I don't have to do it myself. I don't have to create a business. The business is there. I just need training to be able to execute upon it. So it just increases the efficiencies for businesses to help them grow and scale in a strategic manner.
You know what, Carlos, I really like that example that you provided as it relates to, hey, if I'm a business and I want to do business in Houston and San Antonio, I mean, I kind of want to stay in Texas, but I still want to be able to offer these services in these other states so that I can kind of have more customers or whatever. So I really like that concept, and I like that idea as it relates to this could be one of the reasons why you participate in this particular program. And so, Carlos, we did have a couple questions come through, and we have a few minutes before we jump into our resource panel. And I want to go ahead and ask you these questions. So one of the questions was, what are the qualifications to participate in the Accelerator program?
The qualifications is, do you have a drive, right? We will have an application, but it's not going to be so selective. What we're really interested is like to prove up that you put some skin in the game, that you're an owner that really want to take it to the next level. And how can you prove that up? You can prove that up by being a certified minority, or because this is more racial and ethically program. It's showing that you have the requisite certifications, right? To show that you actually have a entity, to show that you actually have a business plan, things along those lines, to prove up that you're really interested in growing and scaling. That's really all the the qualifications that's associated with it. So that's one of the things we're looking at. Just prove up that you're willing to put some skin in the game, as well as invest in yourself. Because one of the things that we have to be mindful of, and this is Carlos, this is no one else's, this is just Carlos, thoughts, as far as when we're smaller businesses, we have to change the narrative and make people think that we're for-profit organizations, not nonprofits, right? Nonprofits are nonprofits. This is not what this is. This is for profit. We're trying to generate income, and we are capable of generating income. What we need is an informational platform and the right professionals. So that is the mindset. It's like, look, we are capitalists. We believe in free enterprise, but we're going to take this at a more cooperative type of nature. So those are the qualifications. Like, look, if you're willing to share economic benefits with others, willing to put skin in the game, and willing to invest in yourself, this is a program for you.
All right, Carlos, I love that. And so we have a couple other questions, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack that on to the end, because I think some of the questions that are being asked. Some of our resource panel can definitely provide that information as it relates to resources. So Carlos, thank you so much for providing that information, and hang out with us a little bit longer. We're going to have our panel discussion. We're going to allow our amazing resource supporters here talk about their particular program, and then I'm going to bring all of you guys back and we're going to answer some more of your questions. So in the meantime, guys, please feel free to still continue to put your questions in the chat box or in the Q&A section box. We want to know, we want to hear from you. We want to know what questions you have. We want to know how we can be of assistance to you. And we want to make sure that you get the information that you need in order to be successful in this particular program. And so without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce you guys to Bridget Moon. Bridget Moon is part of the SBA program. The SBA organization, which is the Small Business Association. And Bridget specializes in helping veterans businesses through the SBA. She's a wealth of information. She is always in the community, always providing information to business owners. So I definitely want to introduce you guys to Bridget, and let's see what Bridget has to say about the resources available with the SBA. Bridget?
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I appreciate us being able to participate in this awesome event and this program. This is a great opportunity for those that are on or that are viewing this presentation to get some great information. You have the slides up there, Stephanie? There we go. You can go to the next one. There you go. So SBA, a lot of people know us as far as loans, and we don't really make the loans, we guarantee them. So we count on our financial, organizations, banks, nonprofits that do a lot of funding out there that do SBA lending. And one of those things is that we do franchises. We do have a franchise directory that's actually, there's the website address there, but you can also just go to sba.gov and put a little search. This tells you whether these franchises, I lost word there, franchises are been approved for SBA financing. So as you can see, some popular ones there I just listed, Popeyes, Wingstop, K1 Speed, Cold Stone Creamery, but there's over 2,500 approved franchise brands currently, and that list continues to grow. They try to update it every Friday. So I'm sure that looking forward to having some new ones get approved in that franchise directory. So just give you an idea as far as way we look as far as financing. We gradually have increased. 2017, we had $250 million in loans just through our district. That's not across the United States. This is just DFW district numbers. So, and we cover 72 counties in our district. So that gives you an idea. For 2019, $340 million in franchising. And then, of course, 2021, we had 378 million, 881 franchise type loans. So we don't have our 2022, but as you can see, 2021, we're still in that pandemic, post-pandemic, and we're still increasing. So we're very optimistic for our 2022 numbers to hopefully go over and beyond that 378 million. So hopefully for some good things in this initiative, I'm sure will definitely help that. Go ahead, next one. So as Carlos mentioned, about skin in the game, what does that take? Business plan, certain certifications could always be helpful. And we have resource partners that can assist, and we have over 1,400 nationwide. And if you go to our SBA .gov website, there's a menu top at the bar, it says local assistance. And when it pops up, you can put your zip code in. Of course, if you're in our district, 72 counties, you'll see our district office pop up first, and then all the other resource partners that would be available follow right underneath it. So if we go to the next screen, I'll show you our 4 main resource partners, but that doesn't mean that that's all inclusive. Those resource partners that, if we go to the next slide, will help you with certifications, business planning, anything that you might think of, marketing, helping to get you lender ready for financing through SBA. So one of them is our small business development centers. You can see the website there, americassbdc.org. Another organization you see there is SCORE. What I like about with SCORE too is they do a one-on-one mentoring. When you go to their website, score.org, usually a thing will pop up, or at the top menu, it'll say request mentor or advisor, and complete that information about 5-10 business days. Your mentor or someone will be in contact with you. Maybe they might have some additional questions. Then we have our Women's Business Center there in Dallas. That's fairly new in the last probably 3 years. Definitely caters to our women. For those that need a place, not only just for advisement and counseling, they have work areas as well. So that makes it nice. Then we have our Veteran Business Outreach Center that caters to the veteran and spouses. So a lot of times people, we have our spouses that are at home while our servicemen and women are out, and they have small businesses, whether it's maybe makeup, or, maybe it's dog sitting service. There's all kinds that we see from a spouse being at home that can take advantage of the services at the Veteran Business Outreach Center as well. And we'll go to the next screen there. And then here's, of course, our district office. This right here is my contact information. I put it all there so you can take a picture of it. That's my office number, my email, my phone numbers, the regular office. Any one of us can assist you or direct you as you're going through this process, whether you're starting or growing or need any kind of additional services that SBA or resource partners might be able to assist you with.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bridget, for that information. The SBA has always been an amazing resource for business owners, and thank you so much for highlighting those partners that you highlighted to give our attendees more information on where they can go to get additional assistance for your business. So please take advantage of the information that Bridget shared with you to help support your business. So thank you again, Bridget, but hang in there. We're gonna bring you back, and we're gonna have our panel discussion, which I'm so excited about and I'm so looking forward to. And so thank you again, Bridget. And so now I want to go ahead and introduce you guys to Jesse Saldana. Jesse is actually part of the City of Dallas Small Business Center. He is currently a program administrator for business inclusion with the City of Dallas Small Business Center, where he is responsible for the city's Minority Women Business Enterprise Program, including MWBE participation in the city's construction, procurement, and professional services contracts. Jesse leads the city's bid staff that works with the city's departments and end users to include MWBEs on city contracts. Before the city, Jesse was with the Dallas Independent School District for 10 years and was with the district's MWBE department for over 9 years. Jesse is also the City of Dallas board member with the North Central Texas Regional Certification Agency, which is an agency that certifies MWBEs. Jesse?
Oh, great. Thank you very much for that introduction. Once again, my name is Jesse Saldana. I'm with the City of Dallas Small Business Center. The City of Dallas Small Business Center was established in 2001. The Small Business Center covers 3 areas that are part of the city's Business Inclusion and Development Program, which is the city's Minority Women-Owned Business Program, which encourages minority participation on city contracts. The other one is our entrepreneurship area, in which we're going to be focusing on programs for this. It's kind of after COVID that we realized that we needed to put more efforts as a city towards entrepreneurship, small businesses. So at the center, we have provided some classes and workshops in regards to like legal advice, and we work with many partners to provide resources for startup businesses in the city of Dallas. As part of that entrepreneur side, we have a loan and grant program. We have the South Dallas Fair Park Opportunity Fund, the Southern Dallas Reuse Fund, and the Southern Dallas Fund. These are grant programs and loan programs, principally for businesses that are in Dallas south of 30. So those are some programs that are through the entrepreneurship side of the Small Business Center. And the last section is our workforce initiatives and workforce development initiatives. We operate the city's Fresh Start program, which focuses on supporting justice impacted individuals getting meaningful employment. We partner with other small businesses and local companies in regards to their workforce development needs, looking at providing training to the residents of Dallas for upskilling their employees for those possibly high-paying jobs or new industries in Dallas. So that kind of covers our three initiatives of the Small Business Center. If you go to the next slide, Stephanie. So this is my contact information. If you have any questions in regards to the city's minority business program, minority certifications that the city recognizes, we have 3 certifications, which is the North Central Texas Regional Certification Agency, the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council, and the Women's Business Council Southwest. Essentially, those certifications just verify that you're 51% a minority or woman owned, and then you're certified in the area of the service that you provide. The next contact is Regina Onibe, and she could assist you with any questions, but you can also contact me for that. As I stated, we're a new center, so we're start gearing up and adding more staff in the entrepreneurship side. So definitely reach out, and we'll have a lot of great things coming in our entrepreneurship program. And then Dina Owens handles our workforce initiatives currently. All that information is on our Source Dallas webpage. It has a lot of good information and details into the different programs that I discussed. I didn't include them on the slides. I would like y'all to kind of go through the website and then reach out to us if you have any questions or contact me directly, and I'll definitely be able to assist you. As I said, I've been with the city. I was with Dallas ISD for about 10 years, and there was a great opportunity. So learning about new businesses, I've been in a lot of outreach with the community, with the chambers. So I definitely would happy to here to assist you in pursuing your ventures into franchising. But thank you very much, Stephanie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jesse, for providing that information. And I'm not sure how many of you guys knew about the City of Dallas Small Business Center, but it's a great resource for business owners. And I definitely encourage you to reach out to Jesse to see how the center could assist you in your business as you navigate through this amazing journey of entrepreneurship. And so with that being said, I want to introduce you guys to Natasha Harris. Natasha is the Director in Outreach and Recruitment for the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. This is such an amazing program. I mean, it's such an amazing opportunity. I have yet to meet a business owner that went through that program that was not successful, that did not benefit greatly from that particular program. And so I definitely want to make sure that I introduce Natasha to you. Natasha and I have worked collaboratively for years. We actually, I'm not sure if some of you participated in our Back to Business series that we hosted with Dallas College several years ago, right after COVID. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Natasha Harris. Natasha?
Well, hello, and thank you for the great introduction, Stephanie. Stephanie, I'd like to thank you and DISD for giving us the opportunity, Dallas ISD, I'm sorry, for giving us the opportunity to be here today. And I'm excited and honored to share the stage today with Bridget, Jesse, and Carlos. I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to some of the 10,000 small businesses graduates who are here today. I know I saw Ebba earlier, and also saying hello to my colleague, Chris Bradshaw. She is the Business Support Services Director for 10,000 Small Businesses. Next slide, please. So Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses is a program that links learning to action. And because we love talking about 10,000 small businesses, I only have a couple of pointers I want to share today, given the time that we have. I will share that if you are interested in learning more about our program, there is a QR code here. And then there'll also be a QR code on the last slide if you're interested in us reaching out to you for further information. So basically, this is 10,000 small businesses in a nutshell. Carlos said so many buzzwords today. He mentioned growing and scaling. He also mentioned that small businesses are our heroes, and Goldman Sachs Foundation recognized that, and that small businesses are very important as it relates to job creation and also to our economy. And so businesses join 10,000 small businesses at the level where Carlos has just mentioned they have already put skin in the game. And so this program is really built for small businesses who are interested in growing their business. And so we have a plan that's dedicated, and the content is designed by Babson College, which is the nation's top ranked entrepreneurial school. We take these businesses through a 14-week program, and that 14-week program is in person. So as we talk about skin in the game, throughout this program, small businesses attain resources, knowledge, obviously, and tons and plethora of networking opportunities upon being graduates of the program. So on the left, where you see that 66% of those businesses who have graduated just 6 months after graduating, they've already grown in revenue by 66%. That is because the skin in the game and the work that they've put into creating their growth plan throughout the duration of being in our program. Upon graduating, they are also, they attain so many other different resources. And again, as I mentioned, networking opportunity. We are at almost 800 graduates in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which we are extremely excited about. This program is overseen by Dallas College. I am an employee of Dallas College, and we oversee the program, and we have a dedicated team consisting of our alumni director and our programming team consisting of business advisors, and our executive director is Kristen Thomas. She's also the director of the Bill J. Priest Center for Economic Development, which is where our classes are being held in the southern sector of Dallas. Last but not least, before we go to the next slide, I also want to share the criteria of this program. Business owners who are the owner or co-owner of their business, if they've been in operation for at least 2 years, a revenue of at least $75,000, and a minimum of 2 employees. That is the minimum criteria that is needed to apply for our program and to be accepted to the next phase, which is the interview phase. In addition, as I mentioned, this is an in-person program. We started back in January 2022 of being back in person. We've just launched our cohort 25, which we are excited about. That just started in January. And so I'm gonna, if you move to the next slide, Stephanie. Thank you. I wanted to share a brief overview of what the schedule looks like. We are in the application cycle for cohort 26, which is our summer cohort, and our deadline is approaching for business owners who are interested in this program. This is the actual schedule. If you'd like to take a snapshot, feel free to do so, or I'll be more than happy to share it with you. Next slide, please. And this is my show and tell slide. I love sharing information and photos of our graduates. This is the cohorts from 2022. We have 3 cohorts a year, starting in January, graduating in April. The next start is in September. Start in January, graduate in April, start in May and graduate in August. The next starts in September and graduates in December. So this is all of our cohorts for 2022, which we're very excited that we've graduated almost 90 small businesses in 2022. Next slide, please. And the next slide is basically our contact information. I'm also going to place it in the chat, but we also like to highlight Dallas College's Supplier Diversity Department. Malcolm Mayo is the Assistant Director of Supplier Diversity. If you have any interest in connecting with Malcolm, his information is here, or I'll be more than happy to make a direct connection with you. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Stephanie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Natasha, for providing our attendees with this information. And like I said before, during my introduction of Natasha, that the Goldman Sachs program, I can't emphasize enough how amazing this program is. And I have met people who have participated in this program all over, in the DFW area, the Houston area, and no matter where I've met people who have participated in this program, they have all had success stories. They've had success stories with their own business, as well as collaborating with and utilizing each other from their graduating class in business. So Natasha, thank you so much for providing us with that information. And so what I'd like to do now is kind of welcome everybody back. So let's just kind of bring everybody back. Carlos, Jesse, Bridget, we definitely want you guys to join us here. We're going to talk a little bit more about a lot of the information that we've heard today. We're going to answer some more questions from our attendees, and we're going to have a great time, right? We're going to have a great conversation. And so I also want to remind our attendees that I've provided information in the chat for how to contact Carlos with any questions regarding the franchise program. Okay, so definitely make sure you get that information in the chat box, and we will definitely make sure that, Carlos is definitely going to get in touch with you about that. And so here's one of the questions. We're going to go back to talking about the franchise initiative program, and I kind of want to hear from our panel as it relates to the Mayor's Franchise Initiative. How will that work? How will that initiative work with other accelerator programs?
You want me to go first?
Sure, go ahead, Bridget. That would be great.
Yeah, so we have a lot of different financing options out there. So we have the CDFIs that are, community focused type loans. We have our 7A community advantage type loans that are very similar into that the CDFIs do. So a lot of our micro lenders are CDFIs. Anybody that wants a copy of that list, they can email me. I can provide that list. And of course, our resource partners, as I mentioned earlier, they can help out with that certifications, and all the counseling's free. Just want to stress that out as well, that there isn't a cost to the counseling. Now, all the organizations will have like webinars and workshops. Some are free, some are very nominal charge that they might have, but you can get on their email list and pick through them. But I would definitely get on with their counseling that can help out with deciding maybe or helping, is franchise right for them? Are they ready for that next step? Or if they're already franchising, and I know this program is going to also do the same, but sometimes people, want to go ahead and vet their business to make sure that it is viable in that, and they can more than welcome to do that. So we've got not just our resource partners, we've got financial side of it that can help out with the financing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bridget, for sharing that information. And Natasha, I saw you unmute your mic with eager anticipation for how this is going to work with the Goldman Sachs program. So go ahead and share with us.
Yes, I was just speaking with Chris Bradshaw, my colleague, about this program on yesterday. One thing I failed to say is that our program is also free. I know everyone loves free, So
Yes.
I believe that we would be able to partner in the areas of outreach. As I mentioned, our 10,000 small businesses graduates, they have already put skin in the game. So they've already built their growth plan. And so they're on the way, they're ready to grow. And so I believe that since the 5 years I've been with this program, I've spoken to so many graduates who are looking forward to taking their businesses to the next level. And I've heard conversations and been a part of conversations about franchising. And so we would definitely love to partner on this particular initiative from a 10,000 small businesses perspective.
Awesome. And speaking of skin in the game, I noticed that Eva made a comment in the chat about how amazing the Goldman Sachs program is. And as a business owner who has put skin in the game, I just want to give a shout out to her because she also participated in the Dallas ISD Bond Academy. She has a construction company and she definitely participated and graduated from our Dallas ISD Bond Academy, which we're revving up for our next session of our Bond Academy. So for those of you who are in the construction industry and you're interested in learning more about the Dallas ISD Bond Academy, please let me know in the chat and we will make sure that you get that application link to go ahead and apply for that. And so we heard from Natasha, we heard from Bridget. Jesse, did you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I would say that the city of Dallas, we have a forthcoming accelerator program that we're working on developing right now. Hopefully we'll be rolling it out by May, but it's going to be a general accelerator program for MWBEs. So the program that Carlos is providing is a great program because it's a specialized niche and gives you more of the upfront details about franchising. So that's kind of going to be the difference. And I'm excited for our accelerator to start at the city of Dallas. So there's going to be many opportunities for training opportunities for small businesses to grow their business.
Okay, great. And so I want to encourage the attendees to go ahead and ask your questions in either the Q&A box or the chat feature for any of our panelists, as well as Carlos, for any information. And so, Carlos, I'm going to direct this question to you. So we have a question. They want to know, when will the program get started?
Yeah, the program will get started. The program gets started in February. We run a pilot program because one of the things also what we're doing is we're trying to bring information to the business employees. One of the things is about overlooked tax credits, right? Mm-hmm. So we have an outsourced CFO as well as a tax accelerator program that's going to look to see whether or not there's businesses that have any overlooked tax credits. That could be up to $26,000 per employee. So it's those types of techniques that we're doing. That's going to be in February. We're going to run a general one in March so everyone will know about it. So we're going to, with the franchise exchange, with the accelerators, our first accelerator will be in June 2023. That's the franchisor. And in September 2023, franchisee. But one of the things I also just want to pull back with respect to the program. It's like it's important that growing and scaling is important, but details are always where it's at, right? So get as much free information as you can, but you really need professional advisors that are specialized in these particular areas. Like for instance, if you do get a loan, what does that mean? Do you know what a restricted covenant is? How do you structure your loan so that you would be less likely in default? These are the types of blocking and tackling type techniques that you will learn with respect to this accelerator so that you really can take it to the next level as a business and really understand that, because I don't know any successful business in the long term that doesn't have great CFO, great attorneys, or a great tax accountant.
It's interesting that you mentioned attorney, because that was like a part two to that same question, like, will there be attorneys that will be providing some guidance and some educational programming during this program?
Well, one of the things that's associated, I practiced at Lathrop, which was considered one of the best franchise law firms. So we will have the basis of having attorneys providing insights with respect to information. But at the end of the day, you really need to engage. I mean, this is going to be helpful, but you need a nuanced and more specific role in order to develop the requisite strategy and skill set that you need to take it to the next level. So I would encourage anybody to engage a private attorney with specialty in the field. Because one of the things that this program is about, because working at large law firms and seeing a lot of bankruptcies and things of that nature, is that a lot of these small businesses, they don't have a professional team, right? Once the education ends, after 6 or 8 months, who's there to help with respect to developing a game plan to take them to the next level? That's part of the reason of this program, where you get first in class type of professionals, right? So in essence, you have small businesses that will access the same type of professionals that major companies will have, because major companies can make mistakes. You can't. So it's important, and it's imperative that you got the right team and the right information in place, so you can save time and save money in the long run.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so we have a couple minutes left. I want to make sure that we get your questions answered. Please feel free to include your questions in the Q&A and the chat. We would just want to make sure that you walk away from this amazing event getting some information that you need to help your business. We have amazing resources here. We have Goldman Sachs here. We got the City of Dallas Small Business Center here. We got the SBA here. And if you think about it, and I'm so proud, because Dallas ISD, we strive to make sure that we provide you guys with the best webinars and workshops in the area that's known to be held by a diversity program or diversity department. So we definitely want to make sure that you take advantage of these amazing professionals here that are have a wealth of resources for you and your business. Now, if you think about it, now, as I'm looking at this screen, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not sure how you guys are seeing us. And then I have these amazing panelists all around me. And I just want to make sure before we conclude with this particular session, I want to go around and talk to the panelists about how can your particular resource assist small businesses, because most of the businesses that we work with are small businesses. And I also want to emphasize that as a franchise, you can still do business with Dallas ISD. A franchise is just really the legal structure of your business. We have a lot of franchises, Chick-fil-A, different, other franchises that do business with Dallas ISD. So if that's one of your questions, I helped you out on that one. You no need to type that in. We got you covered. So I just want to make sure. So we're going to go around the room, and I'm going to actually start off with Jesse. I'm going to start out with Jesse because Jesse, as he indicated, he has worked with small businesses for many, many, many years. And I just want to get advice from you. So what can you tell our business owners who are joining us today, and those business owners who will be watching us this video later?
Yes, so Stephanie, I would like to say, so the resources that we provide at the City of Dallas is we can help you connect within some of the city departments. So, if you're starting a business and establishing it, you can work with our planning, urban design, or development services. Those are kind of different departments that you might have to navigate as you're starting your business or considering expanding your location. So that's kind of some of the things that we provide at the Small Business Center to help you navigate through the city's processes, because it could be a little different. But in the long run, we want you to kind of grow and scale your business, get other government contracts, get other contracts with other public agencies like DART, City of Dallas, DFW Airport, City of Fort Worth. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to grow your franchise, expand into different markets. And so this is a great opportunity for everybody. So definitely I'm here as a resource to provide any insight or guidance if that's what you need. Thank you,
Awesome.
Stephanie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jesse. And so since, like Jesse said, since that's a new program, you definitely want to make sure that you go and let them know what services you guys are needing. Let them know that. So therefore, they can provide those services for you as they grow that program. So definitely don't be shy. Don't be shy. Go ahead and let Jesse know what you need. And so now I want to go ahead and connect with Bridget. Bridget, the SBA has been around for a long time. And I know that, there's been a lot of rebranding, a lot of focuses on helping business owners. I know you guys, collaborated and brought different, like the EIDL loans and different things and grants during the pandemic or during the beginning of the pandemic. And so not necessarily with a focus on the pandemic, but can you tell us a little bit about the resources that you guys have, or what advice you would give to our attendees?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Well, first and foremost, SBA is available across the United States. So as you franchising might not just be a local thing. That could be in different states. So we have 68 district offices, plus our resource partners on top of that across the United States to assist anyone thinking about franchising. So that's a benefit there. Or if you're thinking about taking your franchise that you own and expanding in a different territory, you have those resources there to assist. So SBA in general, as I mentioned earlier, with the different types, we have so many different types of loan programs out there. So you can discuss with us at the district office, or our resource partners are aware of them, find out what might be the best option for you as you continue your journey, whether it's a startup or growth. And then also, the counseling I mentioned earlier with the resource partners and how to obtain the additional ones through our website. And then also, which is not really part of this webinar that you're doing now, but of course, we're part of helping those establish into federal contracting. Now, for those franchises that might be in that realm later on, or they've been in business for a couple of years with proven history, that's something that can be thought of as well. So SBA is very diverse as far as the assistance, the resource partners. Of course, it's all tailored towards a small business. So that's, if you're unsure whether you're a small business, that's what SBA, the district office is to contact us. And we can definitely go through that motion. But for those that are attending, my advice is franchising is definitely a wonderful option for any of those, as Carlos mentioned, growing your current business, or if you're wanting to be an entrepreneur, you're not too sure, exactly what you want to do, but you have some interest or expertise. Obviously, that's the franchise that you want to kind of look into, something that interests you, something that you have a passion about, or the expertise. I have a lot of my veterans that contact me, and they've have a lot of skill set from the military, and so directing them to different kinds of franchises or ones that they want to be involved in, and so I always tell them, make sure you have that passion, because sometimes entrepreneurship isn't just a 9-to-5 job. It's sometimes a little bit longer hours, but the rewards are great. So
exactly. And
yeah.
we know how difficult that is. And that's why Carlos kind of put that out there. You got to have skin in the game. So Natasha, let's go ahead and hear from you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stephanie. The advice I would like to share is, as it relates to 10,000 small businesses, is to just trust the process. We know that it is an intense 14 weeks that we take business owners through, but it is a life-changing experience for them, both personally and in their business. I'll also like to say the phrase that's often used by DFW, Minority Supplier Development Council, and that is, people do business with people that they know. So I would say, please connect, even if you are not ready for 10,000 small businesses, connect with me, because what I'm about to share now is information that I just received today. If you know of a African-American female business owner, there is a program that was launched last year by Goldman Sachs. It's called 1 Million Black Women Black in Business. I was just told today that they will start the application process for the next cohort really soon. And guess what? They asked us to send personal referrals to them so that those names can remain at the top of the list. Connect with me if you're interested or know someone interested. I'd be more than happy to send a referral on behalf of the Dallas 10KSB team. Thank you.
Awesome. And you see that, guys? Now, had you not registered for and attended this amazing webinar, you wouldn't have been able to get that amazing information that you just heard from our panelists. And so before we conclude, I know we ran a little bit over, but before we conclude, let's go ahead and hear from Carlos. Carlos, could you just reassure our attendees? They've been asking a lot of questions like, how do I get information? How do I get signed up? When did this start? All that. So can you just reassure them? I've put the information also in the chat box for you guys to have that information. So please make sure that you take a look at that email address in the chat box to reach out to Carlos to let him know how interested you are in this particular program. Let him know, hey, I have skin in the game. I'm ready. Let's go. So Carlos, go ahead and let us know and provide us with some information and reassure us of this amazing program.
Yeah, again, request information at franchise.initiative@gmail.com. That's FRANCHISE at INITIATIBE@gmail.com. Well, I mean, honestly, the proof is in the pudding. Look, you have an expert like Bridget. Think about what we have here, right? We got an XBA expert here that's talking about loans, and SBA is basically the reason why we have small businesses through their financing programs and things of that nature and other resources. Then on top of that, we got the city of Dallas, the 4th largest metroplex in the United States, with Jesse that's talking about the various programs that the city has, coupled with an Accelerator program, and there could be other loan programs. Now we have Natasha bringing in Goldman Sachs 10,000 for those specific businesses that fit that criteria. You know what? That's called an ecosystem. That's why we developed this. It's already here. So now it's just about how do we go about connecting these dots and putting it in a very efficient manner. And that's the way we're going to do. I promise you, I'm passionate about this. I'm going to come very responsive. And if I don't, you got the mayor that's very responsive. He will wring my neck if I don't do what I'm supposed to do and make sure people got the information and respond to them, because this is important for all of us. And I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Carlos. Thank you so much for our panel. Again, I am Stephanie Broughton, and I'm with Dallas Independent School District. We offer amazing webinars like the one we just shared with you guys today. So please be sure to check us out on social media. If you're not following us, if you're not tweeting with us, if you're not hanging out with us on social media, please definitely do that. And you can check out all of our upcoming amazing webinars on our website at dallasisd.org/MWBE. And stay tuned for our Black History Month Facebook Live series, which we'll be hosting for the month of February. Again, I want to thank Natasha Harris. Thank you so much, Natasha. I want to thank Jesse, my former colleague. Thank you so much, Jesse, for hanging out with us today. And I want to thank Bridget for providing you with information with the SBA. And Carlos, thank you so much for bringing this amazing initiative to our attention. And I want to thank all of the attendees for hanging out with us today and for providing us with your information. And just in case you don't know, you can click the 3 buttons in the chat to capture all the information in the chat. Just go ahead and download that information. And we want to thank you guys again so much and have a wonderful day. Continue to stay safe and warm out there. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.